Tenki's back at 3, and Fire Fist still can't compete. What's up, everybody? Today I'm bringing you my take on what I'm calling the Fire Brigade. I've seen a lot. Pretty much when Tri-Brigade first came out, you saw pretty much everything, especially on Master Duel, get Tri-Brigade thrown into it and see how it works. And, you know, there's like Harpies, Glad Beasts, a lot of old decks that, you know, people would just hope that Tri-Brigade would revive. And I came up with this little variant. Some of my counts for some of the monsters may be a little suspect, and that's whatever. I've learned this deck is best just going second, and you have to cut some of the typical Fire Fist stuff you'd love and miss, but I'll explain in my testing with my friends why I've chosen the ratios I've chosen. And this is more of a fun rogue variant going second. I'll give you some budget options for certain cards and things like that. Not that there's too many expensive ones in here, but without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off with our monsters, we're going to hit the Tri-Brigade first. So for my little variant, I like to run Fractal is the most important to me. The reason he is so dope in this deck is because I'm going back with my like kind of 3.5 access of the Fire Fist from before, and he can just pitch you a Rooster from deck to grave, which sets up your Spirit, and it's just really nice. Plus, you know, he's also a level 4 Beast Warrior, which helps for other things. You can actually summon 2 of him out the deck with a Tiger King if you popped it with your bear. There's a lot of uses for him to kind of extend as well. Next, we're running 2 Kiras. I've debated on putting this at 3 because he's also nice when you open a butt ton of monsters, especially like your Fire Fist and a Spirit, and you need to ditch something and do things like that. But Kiras is also just nice for the extra summon. He's very easy to summon with all the monsters you have in your deck, and he is also going to be just a little bit of an extender as well. Then last for the Tri-Brigade, because this is a Fire Brigade deck, but it's not like super catered to the Tri-Brigades. They're more of like extenders and additional combo pieces, but they still do help a lot. And Nerval is just nice because Foolish Barrowing him just gets a lot of cards out the deck, and it could just be really nice. Start going on to our Fire Fists. For our level 3s, of course, as we mentioned, we're going to have our 3 Fire Fist Spirit. Spirit, you know, he's just that classic guy. And obviously in today's meta, with all the hand traps out and stuff, if he gets hit, it kind of sucks, but you have your Tensu to still get another summon off. Some of the Tri-Brigades could summon without normal summoning, so like Kiras, so it's really nice to just still be able to like bait, and if he does go off, it's nice. But keep in mind, he has that restriction where you can only attack with Beast Warriors, and that's where the rank 3, the link 3 Tri-Brigade comes in handy. For your targets to summon with Spirit, we're running 2 Rooster. I know it might seem like stupid to only have 2 targets, but there's lots of ways to get this. There's the Fractal helps you dump it. There's so many ways to set it up now. It's just nice at 2. And then I'm still running 2 Raven. The way I treat Raven pretty much is he's a starter, but not as efficient, because when the new Fire Fist support came out, and if you wanted to run pure Fire Fist, he becomes way more important because of just getting you quickly by Almiraging him, which I still do in this deck, but I'm no longer running Panda and stuff like that, and I'll explain that as well. But Raven can still just be nice. He's not a summon target for Spirit because of his high defense, but he is just nice to kind of treat himself because of Almirage as any one of your Fire Formation spells. Moving on to our level 4 Fire Fist monsters, I'm running 2 Dragon. Now, I know 3 Dragon, especially with, you know, Eagle, is like ideal, but because I needed to keep this space kind of tight, and I am running a 42 card deck, and if you wanted to pop in the 3rd Dragon, I'll give you the perfect card I would take out for it personally. But for now, with this variant, the 2 Dragons have been working nice. It does suck if you open one and you're trying to get both of them out the deck for the Tiger King combo, but the Tri-Brigades kind of help that not be your only go-to to really pop off and get extra monsters on board. Of course, we still have the 1 Bear because he can pop stuff, and he helps you pop your own Tiger King to get a couple things out the deck. Buffalo, because he's one of the easiest monsters to splash on board when you're trying to go up for links, or you just need another level 4 on board. And then I am still running the Elephant. I just like Elephant, honestly. With some of the bricky hands, he kind of fixes them. And I still only like him at 1, but he is a nice little extender for when you have things going right. And this deck being such a rogue deck, it's either gonna go hard or it's gonna crap out. So I just tried to keep the ratios a little bit tight. And the reason I don't like Panda anymore is because if this was more of a pure variant of Fire Fist, he's great, but that restriction, even though it's for the rest of the turn, trying to fit him into combos, and when I was testing this deck, it was just way more complicated than going for the stuff that just does what it does and doesn't require you activating a fire formation, getting all this additional stuff. So with that, we move on to our spells. Sorry guys, I forgot one monster. I am running Eland, but I'll explain later why this is most likely going to be my cut option to take this down to a 40 card deck, or if you wanted to replace it. I just do run the ritual spell, and sometimes it sucks. Like, if you are forced to go first, him with your trap can at least have a couple of negates, and this deck really suffers going first unless you completely change the strategy. But still run the one Eland just because it's one of the only negates we have that's kind of efficient. To start off our spells, of course, now that it is back, we are running 3 Fire Formation Tenki. Not much to explain about this card, it's just great, gets you whatever pretty much you need in this deck. 3 Fire Formation Tensu, also an amazing card. I mean, an additional normal summon for a Beast Warrior is just amazing. A lot of times I'll open a Cuirass and something to pair it with a Spirit, and you know, you can dump the something to summon Cuirass, normal summon your Spirit, get a Rooster out the grave, start going off, setting up more monsters in the graveyard to use that Cuirass, and honestly, Tensu is just a really good card. For the 1-up fire formations, we are running the 1 Domei to ritual summon. Now, this one's kind of annoying to be honest, because this being more of a go second build, this is more only used if this is subsequently in your hand and you can get it off, and you know, you're trying to use this other effect to actually remove it and get the free summon off. For me, it's just like kind of the safety net, these 2 cards. So if you don't like that they brick sometimes, you can take those out or swap them for something else. I recommend taking them out if you don't just want this to be a 40 card deck, or swapping them for something else like the 3rd dragon and something else if you want to be a little more aggressive. But to me, I just felt like it needed some sort of safety net, so that's why I'm still running the ritual monster, and I'm still running the counter trap in case we're forced to go first. We're also running the engine, which is the fusion, and the fusion actually helps you go for an OTK if you can pop off. So the fusion is actually really nice, and that is a card I do recommend keeping in the deck. And then I also still main 1 Gyokkou, because now that we don't have to worry about mine, you still want to sometimes be able to avoid that mystery back row, and Gyokkou is nice because whatever you target for, they can't activate it in response, and it's locked as long as this remains on the field. Going into our generic spells, we're going to have 2 Onslaught of the Fire Kings. This is because this is more of a going second variant. This card can just get you stuff out really easy. It's really nice to get like a Raven out from this or something to start off, especially when you're going second. And this card's just nice to see. Following that up, we also have 2 Dark Ruler No More. You could also, in theory, find space for a 3rd Dark Ruler. Maybe more of the side deck card for this deck, but Dark Ruler is just nice, especially for these weaker decks that can't really get around multiple negates. And if you're not trying to suffocate this deck with a ton of hand traps, cards like this also help as well. And then for our last 3 spells, it's just your generic 1-ofs. Of course, 1 Harpy Feather Duster because it's such a good card. 1 Foolish Burial because hitting, you know, your Nerval, this pretty much also just equals your Fractal. And then 1 Monster Reborn because Monster Reborn's just great. If you want to be super aggressive, you can run Lightning Storms, you can run Cosmic Cyclones, stuff to help you really not fear back row. But I just like to keep this deck pretty simple. And then the only true trap, we'll go on to the hand traps later, the only true trap is the 1 Sinto. Same reason like the ritual, if you don't quite push for game, but you still kind of got some stuff off, maybe you got like a Dweller on board, some Fire Formation stuff, and then you can set this from deck, or you drew it. It's nice to have a negate of a spell or trap, just because, you know, and like I said, I've been thinking of taking this deck in the route of more just all gas, you know, and no little protection like I mentioned, but it is what it is for now. And then the last 6 cards of the deck for hand traps, 2 Ash. I know Ash isn't as popular anymore, so you can change those to what you want. 2 Imperm, because Imperm is in my opinion, one of the better hand traps right now. And because, same reason, you know, the Dark Ruler's in here, maining 2 of the Rock, because breaking those boards is really easy, and especially in this deck, you can like wipe their whole board with Nibiru, make that big token for them, and on your turn just pop it with a bear or something. Or when you enter battle phase with your fusion, he gets to pop a card. So really easy to get around making that big wall afterwards, and I just like this hand trap lineup because it makes the deck a little bit more safe. Alright guys, now on for the extra deck. This too can be up to your interpretation. Starting off with our Exceed monsters. 1 Cardinal, because Cardinal can still clear some pesky monsters as long as they can be targeted if they can't be destroyed. I love his shuffling effect. 2 Tiger King, because Tiger King same way. If it's nothing too OP or you've baited some negates, Tiger King can be like a Dark Ruler in a way. But he's also just there for popping him yourself and replacing him with 2 other monsters, or also getting you whatever spell trap you needed. For the last 2 Exceeds, we are running Dweller. Dweller's also another one of those safety nets, and he's just a really good card in the meta. And then 1 Levier. This is more of an extender, and it's pretty niche. So, you know, you can swap this around and test other things. But I've really liked it, especially when I do actually get a really good hand. He's kind of helped on extending and making some little niche plays. For the one of, we're gonna have 1 of the fusion, and we still are running 1 Horse Prince. Horse Prince nowadays is more used for linking plays. Just keep in mind, if you do Horse Prince early, you cannot make your fusion in the same turn. It has to be before, because for the rest of the turn, if you use his effect to summon a level 3, you cannot special summon level 5 or higher monsters for the rest of the turn. So, but Horse Prince is still nice to get stuff out on board, make a couple little extra, like, you know, like plays. And what's cool about him is he just is still that classic Fire Fist monster, so you feel like you're still playing a Fire Fist deck. On to our Link monsters, we're going to have the 1 Almirage. Obviously, he's mainly just here for the Raven. It's just nice. It's a really good little play, so why not have it? 2 Eagle, because Eagle's just really great, and if you lose one, you kind of need it if you somehow are surviving a game that's going back and forth. I don't like the other Link too. She has like a really shitty version of Warlord's effect, and I've tried to give her a chance, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, because I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of shit for this deck profile in the first place, but I just don't think she's great, so I scrapped her. In light of running 2 Farigit, she's definitely one of the better Tri-Brigades for this deck. She just, that summon from hand is so broken. She's just really nice. She's the only Tri-Brigade I do play at 2. We of course have the 1 Rugal. Now Rugal not only becomes important for climbing up, but also mainly because he's also a Beast Warrior. So if you're gonna go into her, it's nice to replace her with Rugal for if you're cleared the board and you're pushing for an OTK, because he's gonna be one of the only people to attack post a Spirit effect. So he's really important too. We still do run the Shureg, the Ominous Omen, because obviously Shureg is just really good. It's nice to get that removal. Vanishing is always nice. And then lastly, 1 Access Code Talker, just because you can link really easy in this deck. It obviously has to come up at certain times, but this could easily be an Appaloosa if you wanted to give yourself another option for if you had to go first. This could easily be a Boral Sword if you don't have an Access Code Talker. Kind of serves the same purpose, helping you get rid of stuff and push for an OTK. But this is it that I've decided for this extra deck. I've tested this deck a lot. Obviously not at, I currently don't have a locals here in the East Bay area unless I drive really far and out my way. So this has been tested on just like online with friends, and it's funny what kind of wins I could sneak with this. And we'll be bringing you a duel later against a certain other profile that's coming up on our channel. So like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys are doing with Fire Fist, how you guys are running it, if you've put Tri-Brigade in it. Follow us on our social medias and let us know what other rogue deck profiles and budget options you want to see in the future. So, peace out.